Hey folks, Seattleforge here, and I wanted to do a video on one of my very favorite lines, the American light tank line. We can see here that you actually start out with the M2 Light, move up to the M3 Stewart, then move up to the M5 Stewart, and you have the option to go Chaffee or M7, both excellent lines. But I'm going to begin my video here with the Chaffee, the T37, the tank I started the line for, the M41 Walker Bulldog, phenomenal tank, and then this oddball, goofy T49 that comes up at the end of the tree. So let's go and take a look at the Chaffee. Okay, let's take a quick look at the M24 Chaffee, Tier 5 American light tank. It will get light tank matchmaking, which means the same matchmaking as a Tier 6 medium tank. It has a lovely little gun with a 96 average penetration, great penetration with its APCR rounds. It's got a great view range for its tier at 390, and of course Tier 10 amazing radio, 745 signal range. So it is built to scout for sure, but scouting is a lost art in defoliated World of Tanks. So my tank is set up as a combatant tank. You don't see any camo net on this. I have a tank rammer, or a medium tank caliber tank rammer, shell rammer, coated optics for extra view range, and a vertical stabilizer for firing on the move. And it has so few hit points that I don't really worry about fires too much. So I threw some 100 octane gasoline in there to get a bit more speed and a bit more traverse out of this tank. Okay, folks, here we go. We are in our Tier 5 American light tank, the Chaffee. Great little scout tank, and we're lucky enough to have two things going for us. A Tier 6 game, ridiculous, and we're on Prokhorovka, which is the best map for scout gameplay. One of the few left that actually has roles for everybody. I know a lot of people think this map is boring, but the fact is it actually is one of the few maps that still provides good gameplay for every type of tank. So I am in my Chaffee making a beeline for my favorite bush. Over on the one line, my platoon mate, Montana Grizzly, is in his ELC, and he's heading up to the hill. That ELC is a monster of a light tank with a 90mm gun, long load time, long aim time, but bam, it really can hit. I have a pea shooter in the Chaffee with shells that are so slow, people can see them coming and move out of the way. But we'll put them in good use here. And so this is, I'm double bushed, so I'm getting some pretty good vision on everybody, and they're not able to see me. And here comes the Lukes. There's always some light tank who has to ruin your party. Put one into him, and two, and he's done. And I have to get out of here because I will have been spotted. Panzer 3-4 takes a pop at me. I'm going to run away out of render distance. And of course go right back, because that spot's too fantastic to give up this early. We're leading 3-0, so I'm feeling really good about how things are going for us so far. We've only taken out some small light tanks, 2 Tier 4s and a Tier 5. And the Chaffee's gun is actually quite good. 3-second load time with my setup. The shells are slow, but they are pretty punchy. I'm trying to use concealment, cover, double bushing before I take any shots. Not really getting much for nothing. We've taken out one of their jumbos. Good work, boys. We do have just a mess of tanks over here on the 2-line. Really cluttered. I decided I'm going to have to make a move here soon, as soon as I run out of shots. Because there's no way I'm getting spots with this many people out in front of me, of course. But I do still have good shots where I'm in concealment. And here's some ace mastery marksmanship. Not. I whiff so many shots with this gun. But you can see the drop on the shells over that amount of time and how long it takes for the shell to get there. I really should have been leading more. But hey, I got a track. I don't know why I don't take the next shot. I'm baffled. I have no idea why I didn't take the next shot. Looking back on it, I realized this is how I ruined the game. Not really. But there hasn't been much drama yet. It's a scout gameplay, and it's early. 7-2. So the hill isn't in our hands yet, but it looks good. The middle of this map we have locked down. Getting a bit of crossfire with the T-34, possibly the M4 coming up there. Our TDs are moving into position. Our heavies are sort of crawling up over the ridge. But it's probably way past time to make a move. Use this mobility and come in and help out. We did have some of their tanks here hugging the back of the map, and they will make an appearance shortly, so I'll put spots on this Panzer IV-H. I decide he's probably got the derp gun, so I'm just going to keep moving, and hopefully he shoots somebody else, but at least if I'm moving, he won't have an easy shot at me with the slow loft on those shells. And I wait, pop him one for my third kill. And then we have the ass of this BK. Somebody helps me get the kill on that. I get the kill steal, or the secure. Kill secure. And somebody else gets my 3485. Good on them. Game over. And this is my T-37, absolutely one of my favorite tanks to play. It is fun tank to play. Much beefier than the Chaffee, much beefier than the Bulldog. Not that it's any better armored, really. It's just a chunky number and a bigger target. I mean, that turret is huge. It does, however, come with a very nice gun. I prefer the non-autoloading gun. For the much increased average penetration of 150 with its standard shells, which is fantastic for a little tank. Look at that, 1.9 aiming time. Despite the fact it doesn't have an autoloader, I can't put a rammer on this tank with this gun. So I've got the coated optics vertical stabilizer, and because I can't have a rammer, I chose vents to increase the everything my crew does. That works out. And once again, I use the gasoline as opposed to a fire extinguisher. Hey folks, this is the T-37 Tier 6 American light tank, and we have an almost identical situation to the last battle. My buddy Grizz and I are in our matching T-37s in a platoon. We're in a Tier 7 game that's only one up from what we are. That's fantastic. We've got an excellent chance to win. Very good team. We're on Fire Ace Salient, which is the smoky version of Prokhorovka. If you're in a scout, you're praying to get this map. One of the few left. So, Grizz and I split up. He's taking the position I took last time by going on the one line. I stay on this side of the railroad tracks, decide to get spots across the field here. Trying to work the cover a little bit. The Luke pops up and I'm spotted from the side. Good job by him. And I back off into some hard cover and hope that artillery wasn't pre-aiming on this area, which they often are and should be. I decided I'm going to make my way west, see if I can help out a little bit over there. I don't particularly feel like getting popped by KV-2. And if they're going to keep looking at my side, I'm going to keep getting spotted, and I'm going to get taken down by something on the hill or by artillery. So best to come and deal with them. I wouldn't recommend this going up over the middle, but I just didn't see that they had much support. And just my gut told me that most of them had made it over the railroad tracks, heading toward that hill, and that we were going to have a light and medium battle over here. And this tank behaves very much like a very good Tier 7 medium. I don't have the autoloader on this tank. Pick the Lukes out with a little push, and I start working on the Leopard. And I use auto aim here a lot when I'm doing a lot of the driving. It's not great, of course, when the Leopard's moving left to right. You know, the auto aim doesn't exactly keep pace with the leads that you need to pick up the target. So, let's take care of that. Leopard down. Few scouts down. And I think Grizz took out the Crusader. I take a hell of a whack from the Tier 5 German tank destroyer, the Panzer Syphilis 4. I'm going to stay behind this ridge and then come here and pop up and see if I can get some shots. Nothing doing on the KV-1. Alright, the Crusader and the Panzer Syphilis are both spotted. I think the Panzer Syphilis is going to take it first. I won't get any shots on him. I'm able to go after the Crusader, who's somehow still alive, so that I can get that kill. Kill number 3. And Grizz was taken out. More than likely, I think, by that Panzer Syphilis. Alright, making my move on this artillery. And I'm gonna do a spoiler. Somebody steals it from me. Bullshit, that should have gone through. I get another shot, and somebody steals my kill. I pop over the railroad tracks. Nobody will see that coming. And I work to get some eyes on the hill. We're now winning this 9-2. It's by no means over. They still have some very tough tanks. I am spotted, and I believe it's by that SU-122-44. I think. I have a feeling that there's somebody in the lake bed here. I thought it would be the KV-2, who's really moved on. Alright. I want to get a look at that lake bed, but then all of a sudden this Chiri, very good player, comes popping around. And I'm lucky enough that I took out his ammo rack, so there's no reloads for him, and I'm able to put him away. I just completed going through the Chiri, and it's a pretty challenging tank to play. Now, there's no way I want to get shot by this 122-44. I'm a one-shot for him easily. I just want to keep him spotted. Hopefully somebody on my team will get him. And also notice the T1 Heavy comes up on my mini-map. He's taking shots at me. Luckily he's a potato, and luckily the 122-44 is taken out by somebody on my team. And I have a look around, and there's the T1 Heavy, who, with this gun, not with the autoloader, I'm able to penetrate fairly easily if I make good shots, which I don't, as I'm peeking and poking. A bounce. Put a solid one into him, takes away most of his hit points, and somebody steals my kill! Alright, only one tank left on the enemy team. KV-2, not a very good player. I don't think I'm going to get to him in time to get shots on him, but I make a decision that if I do, I'm not bouncing off that manlet. So I load up the APCR, and I go as fast as my little fat light tank can carry me, and hopefully I'll get a shot in there. Oh, they're whittling him down. There's not much left. There's really not much left. And that's all she wrote. Game over. Good result. And here is the tank which got me to start this line in the first place, the M41 Walker Bulldog, which is an absolutely exceptional tank. It does have a high skill cap because it doesn't have a lot of hit points, it has no armor, and it's fast enough to get itself into a lot of trouble. But this tank is unbelievably flexible. The turret traverse on this is fantastic. That gun whips around in gameplay. You'll see that later. The tank traverse is actually quite good as well. It is very agile. It does have a good top speed. Takes a little while to get there, but it will get there. And then it has this 10-round autoloader that is just sick. So let's take a look at that gun. 175 average penetration with its standard APCR rounds. 210 penetration with its premium heat rounds. The average damage of each shell is 150, and you have 10 in the can. 2.1 second aim time. This is a fantastic gun on a quick platform. Because it's an autoloader, no rammer. So vertical stabilizers firing on the move, vents to make my crew better at everything they do, and I do have brothers in arms, which is nice. And then we have coated optics. And I, probably should look at premium consumables. I have run Coke in the past, but I end up losing a lot of money. You can get blown out in this tank really easily. I do. I'm not that good at it. So it's worked out better for me to have fire extinguisher. I should probably put gas in it, but I haven't. This thing will blow your mind. And people do prioritize it on the battlefield because it is such a wicked little fucker. So here we are in the Tier 7 American light tank, the Walker Bulldog, a tank that is absolutely mind-bogglingly powerful, um, especially at endgame. I don't play it particularly well, but that doesn't mean it's not a great tank. Not at all. Anyway, I actually joined a platoon with little brother over there, the Chaffee. I have used this replay before, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time trying to talk about some of the same stuff I did before. But this Walker Bulldog was actually what inspired me to go down the American light tank line. And when I originally did, I sucked so hard at the Chaffee, and I sucked so hard at the T-37, and I never really looked back until a little while ago and started playing them again and really realized what strong tanks they are. A lot of fun to play. And I don't take the usual scout route going up there to get the spots, because the Chaffee's doing it. And so I decide that I'm just going to sit here and try to get some pops and wait for the game to develop so everybody can come forth. So this tank has an autoloader, 76mm, that uses APACR standard ammunition, heat as its premium, 10-round clip that bursts quite quickly. The reload on it can be onerous because it's 10-round clip. See that the guy in front of me is taking shots. And I'm going to hang out here with my Chaffee buddy, and this game is not developing terribly quickly. Alright, get some pops into the Nashorn. That's going to be the end of him. You can see how quickly this clip unloads. It's ridiculous. Still have half my clip left. Game is starting to develop pop one into the Chaffee, but he isn't going to come out again. He's not for me. And I was spotted there and didn't back off quickly enough and took one in the face from the Jumbo, who I think is using a 76mm, maybe 75, I don't know. Only does 114 damage. That is a lot of damage to take as a light tank. And I'm getting my reload on and looking at the map. So as I look to my right, I notice they've spotted the Chigri and the E25. There's a lot of guns pointing at them, so I don't know what the weight is all about here. And I decide, hey, I can pen those easily. I'm gonna go into hand. And my clip reloads, 33-second reload. Look, E25's gone. Our E25 is burning or flipped over, or he was under the E25. They rammed each other. Chiri has no armor, but he does have a 3-round autoloader I'm a little afraid of. But I am able to take him out with only taking one pop from him. Not sure what was going on there. That Chiri's 3-round clip does load very quickly. Okay, I only have half a clip, but I want to get a couple shots in here, and there's hard cover to pull back behind for my reload. So I get out here, and I put 2 quickly into the OY. I don't see that I have a shot on the 5100, but he had one on me. And I see that E34 there, it's kind of a tight shot. I missed the first one, put another one, he backs into the next shot. I won't hurt him, and I come here to back up behind hard cover to get my reload on. And it looks like we're doing a good job of pushing the enemy team into that top left corner of the map. Really boxing them in so they don't have too many options. God, this reload's long. I feel like forever, but we got 1,631 damage that I know of. I don't think there were any blind shots. My buddy in the Chaffee died some time ago. I'm going to make a move on this 5100, but somebody else makes it better. And my next option is to go at the T-34. And I'm hoping I'm going to get in here for a last shot. And I take one at dirt, and I bounce one, and then my pal there takes him out. And I'm thinking I'm going to go after over the bridge, after the T-71, and I think about it for a little bit. Decide, really not the best idea. He's down. Let's just get back to their base and see what kind of work we can do. And the game is pretty well in hand, so it's going to be all about trying to get as much damage out of the game as you can, or it's over. And I see a nice, fat, juicy FCM with a not terribly good player in it. Still a lot of hit points left. He does have a good rate of fire in that tank. And I've got 8 rounds left in my clip. Panther 88 seems to be more concerned with what's going on up the ice road, so I will go take this FCM's hit points from him if I can. And I just start pumping rounds into him with this autoloader. And I believe at this point I ammo racked him, so his next shot is going to be delayed. And I just want to unload as many into him as I can. The game's in hand, I don't have to live. And I don't. But the end result is that we get a win. I got my Mark of Excellence and a first class badge. And the line terminates, well, it doesn't terminate. This is just the last light tank that you can get in the line. The light tanks only go up to tier 8. It then moves on to an American auto-loader medium T-54E1. But this T-49 is different from any other tank in the game. It is novel. It's not good, but it is novel, and you can have fun in it. It's kind of like the KV-2. When you have fun in it, it's really incredibly fun, but most of the time you're going to find you're frustrated by this tank. Let's take a look at what you're most concerned with, which is this tier 8 derp gun, 152 millimeter gun launcher. Don't even call it a gun. The rate of fire, 2.6 rounds per minute. You spend most of your time in this tank either aiming or loading, and not much else. You can see that it has 3 different high explosive ammunition types with different amounts of damage, and the heat, I don't even know why I carry any. It's useless because you're not going to hit what you're aiming at. You're not going to hit a weak spot. You're not going to deliver that 700 points of damage. I haven't anyway. Most of the time, 99% of the time, I'm firing the standard HE rounds. Every once in a while I get cheeky and decide I want to spend my entire paycheck launching one of these bad boys. They are not cheap. 5,200 a go, and you might not hit anything. It does, however, have a massive splash. Let's take a look. I actually use premium consumables. Probably shouldn't in this tank because it is a tier 8. It does have the hit points to survive a few shots, and you will get wrecked, mate, and usually more than one component when it does happen. Taking out crew in this tank is horrible as well. Just anything you can do to avoid having a longer reload time in this tank. Let's take a look at some gameplay. So here we are at the end of the line for the American light tanks, the tier 8 T-49 with 152 millimeter derp gun. Both teams are quite skilled, and they appear to have an edge, and it turns out they do. I did want to show this tank for what it is good for and what it isn't so good for. That 20-second reload is a killer, and all of your ammunition is high explosive of some variety. This is the slowest aiming tank. You will not, it's not an effective sniper. It can be an effective spotter, but that's not much fun to play. It can take huge chunks of damage out of enemy tanks if you hit. We haven't hit, and we've been hit. Luckily, took no damage. Don't know how that happened. So I'm going to pop up here with this T-50 and try to get some spots on this map. This is also not a bad map for scouts, in my opinion. And the teams are arguing about who's the bigger bunch of rerolls, which is interesting. And there's that black dog. And I take 932 hit, but that is a high roll. I penetrated, I'm not sure how. Most often you're going to hit tracks, do 400, something like that. Heavily armored tanks you can do next to nothing against. But, you know, if you're... the other thing with this tank, if you're not doing this passive spotting thing, you really have to keep moving as a combatant tank, and I have a replay that will show that. But here comes this bulldog, and he's taken out by somebody on the team, which is Varnets. One of our T-50s. So Artie's hot on our dicks. This spot is really untenable. The T-50 and I are getting in each other's way. He's really not looking at me at all. It doesn't recognize I'm here. I just will be invisible. I wish I was invisible. That'd be cool. And here comes another one of those black dogs. Yeah, managing that 20-second reload is awful, and then the fact that the gun misses so often is horrible, but not that time. 419 damage. I'm gonna have to back way the fuck off. I get smacked by a T-125 up on the hill. I'm trying to get into some hard cover and wait for my reload. Black Dog is making a move on the T-50, which is really dumb, and I'm able to finish him with a lot of help from the T-50. T-50's taken out one of the most important tanks on our team. All of the most important tanks, the skilled players on our team, are dead, only contributing 1 kill. And that is really the game, to be honest. You know, I will get to play this out. I'm hoping maybe I can help out against this T-30. He's vulnerable to some HE from some angles. Doesn't have a lot of hit points left, that certainly helps, but he's taken out. And I go over here to get a peek and pick up on the E-100, which I am not going to fight with this tank. No way. And you know that there's a bunch of tanks behind him helping out. Alright, I'm going to make my way back up the slope. I know that our tanks that are up on the hill there are more than likely going to be dead very quickly. And so hopefully, if I can maintain some spotting, that'll allow our remaining tanks and artillery chances to land some damage on them as they come down. Worth a shot, right? I mean, what else am I going to do? Alright. Probably, well, yeah, the STB is actually still getting the spots at this point, but I want to get in a good position where I can be useful. And they are moving in, and I can't believe the STB's not dead yet. It's actually, well, now he is dead. Ah, that's a lot of mean, nasty guns, and I'm just a little light tank with 675 experience, or hit points. I'm not really picking up the spots here at this point. These guys are behind hard cover. The GW Tiger's moving back. I lose the T-30. And this is really a lost cause. What are you going to do? I can't give up. And I throw one in the Conqueror's direction. No idea if it connected. And you really don't know. With this gun, I've been at point-blank range and seen the shell take a 45-degree angle out of the end of the gun and miss. It can troll you ridiculously. Oh, and the Waffenträger made it and move up here. I have a shell ready. I hope that I get a good one at him. I get some into him, 361, not much, and he finishes me off. So thank you so much for watching up to this point. I know it's probably a very long video, and I'm not that great at working these things out. But anyway, the tank line is one of my favorites, and there is one really fantastic reason to go down it, and that is this M41 Walker Bulldog. It is an absolute monster, one of the most fun tanks you can play in the game. You won't regret it. Go pick it up. Anyway, thank you for watching, and happy tanking.